We're talking about trillions of dollars of zero interest loans that went to the largest financial institutions in this country. Do you know who received those trillions of dollars? You don't know it. I don't know it. Nobody knows it. And when I asked Mr. Bernanke who received the loans, he said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to tell you. Well, I think that that's wrong. I think we need transparency at the Fed, and I think we need a chairman who's going to tell the American people who received those low interest loans, among many other things.
Senator Sanders, my name is Josh Wilson, and I'm an American citizen very concerned about the state of the economy. With Ben Bernanke's Senate confirmation hearings coming up next week, I've read in the blogosphere that he does not have your support. Now, I know why people such as Paul Krugman have been critical of him, but I'd like to hear from you if in fact you do or do not support him, and why.
This country is now facing the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. 17% of our people are unemployed or underemployed. People are losing their health insurance, they're losing their pensions, they are losing their homes, they're losing their hope for the future. And the immediate cause of this severe recession was the greed and recklessness on Wall Street, the fact that these huge financial institutions converted Wall Street into the largest gambling casino in the history of the world. The function of the Fed, one of its main functions, is to protect the safety and soundness of our financial institutions. And I don't see how anybody can say that Ben Bernanke came close to doing that. He was asleep at the switch when all of these reckless and illegal behaviors were taking place on Wall Street. So I think for that reason alone, we need a new Fed chairman who is going to stand up to Wall Street and protect the interest of middle income and working Americans. Second of all, when people voted for Barack Obama for president, they voted for change. Not only change on Wall Street, but change all across, in many areas of our life. And yet, what the president is doing now is not only reappointing somebody who was originally appointed by George W. Bush to be chairman of the Fed, but even worse, Bernanke was a member of the Bush administration. He was chairman of Bush's Council of Economic Advisors. And anyone who knows anything understands that the 8 years of Bush were an economic disaster for ordinary Americans. That's even before the collapse on Wall Street. Why would you want to appoint a key member of the Bush administration to continue on as chairman of the Fed? Second of all, during the bailout, we're talking about not only $700 billion of TARP money, we're talking about trillions of dollars of zero interest loans that went to the largest financial institutions in this country. Do you know who received those trillions of dollars? Do you know what the terms were for those loans? You don't know it. I don't know it. Nobody knows it. And when I asked Mr. Bernanke who received the loans, he said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to tell you. Well, I think that that's wrong. I think we need transparency at the Fed, and I think we need a chairman who's going to tell the American people who received those low interest loans, among many other things. Furthermore, in the midst of the severe economic crisis that we're in right now, the Fed has the tools. The Fed can act today to address many major problems that are facing middle class and working people of our country. For example, we have millions and millions of Americans who are paying 25, 30% interest rates on their credit card. The Fed today can lower those interest rates. At a time when we have massive unemployment, small and medium-sized businesses are crying out for low-interest loans so that they can expand their businesses and hire new workers. The Fed has the ability today to provide those low-interest loans. 3 out of the 4 largest financial institutions in this country have become even bigger since we bailed them out, which to me is pretty crazy because we bailed them out because they were too big to fail. The chairman of the Fed should be moving forward to start breaking up the large financial institutions so that we're never again in a position of having to bail them out because they are too big to fail. So to my mind, reappointing Ben Bernanke as chairman of the Fed is a significant mistake on the part of the president, and it will be a significant mistake for the Senate to go along with that nomination. I'm going to do everything I can to see that that nomination is defeated, to see that the president gives us a progressive nominee who understands that the Fed has the capability to protect consumers, to lower the very high unemployment rate that we're currently experiencing, and in fact, to stand up to Wall Street so that we really are protecting the safety and soundness of our financial institutions. Thank you.